You're watching the Final Fantasy Entertainment and Podcast Network Final Fan TV. And now, your host, the Warrior of High. Fuzz Pixels does it again. It brings that energy every time. Everybody go check out Fuzz Pixels. I mean, Tyler, listen, it wasn't even like a collaboration thing. He wasn't like, hey man, would you start off your show with my music or anything? I just did that.
Yeah.
I just do that because I freaking love it. And we got also when you're watching when you're watching the standalone Final Fan TV videos, and I need to talk over it. That's when I bring in that nice, epic, but also relaxing lo-fi from Sing 4D Laughter. And then when they need,
you can't go wrong with Sing 4D,
dude. Sing 4D Laughter is so good, man. So I mean, just I love spotlighting talent, and here we go. Speaking of incredible Final Fantasy fan talent, we have at Tyler Hepner Art. So what's up, Tyler? How you doing?
Hey everyone, it's good to be back. It's been a while.
Yeah, man, it's good to have you back. I mean, this was such short notice too to have you on the show, so thank you so much. But there's so much Final Fantasy VII Rebirth news happening right now that I was like, all right, do I make standalone content? Do I cover all of them individually? Do I group it up in one video? Do I make a podcast? What do I do? So here we go. We're just going to talk about it all, man. We've got the ESRB description that we're going to go through. We've gotten some interviews that we're going to kind of peruse, courtesy of at Shinra Arc, the Shinra Archaeology Department. Fantastic of gathering up all this information. So we're going to kind of go through that. We've gotten quotes from those interviews that get us hype, some that get me, personally speaking, a little skeptical on it, but we'll talk to that, talk about that as well. And then, I mean, we go on from there, and then maybe at the end I'll read some of my 5th grade Final Fantasy VII poems to you guys. Wrote this in 5th grade. Yeah. Look,
jeez. Look at that.
Can you read it? I don't even know if you
can read it. Look at that. What is that at the top?
It says Cloud, Barrett, Vincent, Sid, and Sephiroth, in parentheses, bad guy.
Okay.
You gotta make sure everybody knows that. Bad guy. Red 13, Yuffie, Tifa, Aris, A-R-I-S, and a lot others.
A-R-I-S.
And a lot others. All right, so...
A lot others.
Yeah. I words professional now, so there we go. We'll read those at the end of the show. So I mean, let's just jump in. Where do you want to start, man? Where do you want to start?
Man, there's so much. First off, it started off today. I woke up. The first thing I saw was the airship. Aerith with the airship, the updated image. Seeing it upgraded like that.
Yeah.
It
brought it.
See, I did an Aerith painting, inspired by this moment. I just didn't include the airship. This atmosphere is epitome FF7 to me.
Yeah. Man. I mean, it's the recreation of the iconic Aerith key art. Now we had that in Remake, but she was standing in front of an open field, and then now they've added the high wind to kind of be more in tune with how the original art was. Now I'm trying to bring it up for everybody to see, because this, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. This first thing this morning, like you said, and I saw this, and it brought the biggest smile to my face. Look at this art, everyone. Look at that. And I don't even need to pull up the original Final Fantasy VII art. Like, we know that this is the iconic Aeris. Like, it's in the booklet, man. It's in the booklet. I bring out the booklet if I had it. On hand here. I have the booklet here, but I'll bring it up later. But it's just so good. Got me really excited.
This
really
is hyped. This just seeing the open sky in contrast to just always being in Midgar. That's the freshness of this. And me as an artist, I have a very specific love for sunlight at midday and or morning to midday. I'm like really into that. Like light coming through your window in the morning. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah,
So seeing this thing, this atmosphere right here is just I can't wait to just be in it, you know.
Yes, there it is. There we go. I had to bring it up for everybody.
There it is.
Yeah, that's the that's the booklet that comes in the dude. I miss booklets, man. You know, this is a quick pitch to solve all of the physical media thing that everybody's having a problem with. You know, like everybody's kind of moving into the digital age. You know, Christmas is right around the corner, but you want to get the physical copy. You know, and all that. Just make booklets and you put them on sale at the store shelf, and then you put the code in there and like make it a sealed booklet. You can buy the booklet, you put a little code in the side, but you get these cool little, like, you know, little excerpts and things like that. I mean, just do that. That's what I'm saying.
You just reread them over and over and over again.
Yes. I know
always
I
looking
did.
at it.
I know I did.
Yeah.
Back then. So yeah, man.
It'd be like
what?
Go ahead.
No, you do it.
Oh no! It would be like a time limit. You have 2 hours to play a game.
Yeah.
And then that time limit is over, and so I just read booklets until I can play again.
Yeah, that's it, dude. That's so right. I mean, I had to go outside. I had to go outside. I had
to go outside.
It's like,
but every chance I could, I was just looking at what I could.
Yeah. So it was definitely like that for me, and I would draw all of the stuff. So I know you, you know, as an artist.
Yes.
So I would like bring out the strategy guides just so I could get the pictures out of the strategy guides so I can draw them.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it was so wonderful to see that you know, image remade finally with the Highwind in the background, and this is our best look at the Highwind now. So usually it's, you know, it was perched up there on the on Junon, and we didn't really get a good look at it. But now you can. Now you kind of get to see, you know, it's kind of like these blue stripes in a fresh coat of paint. It seems like, you know, compared to how you imagined it in the original. But man, so happy about that. Before I go on to the news from today, I want to rewind about maybe like, gosh, I don't even know. There's just been a bombardment of information. A couple days ago, we got the ESRB official description. So I kind of want to read that out and get your thoughts on that as we go. So this was going to be a standalone video. So thank you so much for watching the podcast, everybody. We're just going to do it all in one.
Okay.
So yes, this is going to kind of tie in also with some of these interviews that we've gotten. All right, the official description reads, "This is an action role-playing game in which players follow the story of a mercenary, Cloud Strife, on a quest to save the planet from evil. Players explore fantasy landscapes, perform missions, and battle monsters and soldiers in frenetic melee combat. Characters use swords, staffs, guns, and magic spells to fight monsters and human soldiers. Combat is highlighted by impact sounds, cries of pain, and explosions." Now, just to kind of throw out there, that entire was basically copied and pasted from the remake description. So yeah, it just like kind of copy and paste, but it was Midgar instead of the planet. So I thought that was interesting. Cutscenes depict further instances of violence, sometimes with splatters, pools of blood, characters impaled or slashed by swords, sometimes with slow motion effects. Now I want to pause right there and kind of talk about it a little bit. Now, first things first, everybody, it's on everybody's mind. Now, if you haven't played the original Final Fantasy VII, please either tune out for a minute and come back later. Or you just, I mean, we're going to be talking in spoilers. It's unavoidable.
Full spoiler talk here.
Yeah, it's unavoidable to talk about, you know, Rebirth without spoilers. So we're going to be kind of going open wide with the original Final Fantasy VII, and I think that's enough stalling. All right, so on everybody's mind is Aerith, right? The when it said impaled by a swords, I just feel like everybody kind of, and then sometimes with slow motion and special effects. Or slow motion effects. Now, do want to point out, though, Tyler, that we have seen blood spray by someone being slashed, and that was Tifa. in the
Yes,
so we've
flashback.
seen that in the flashback. We've seen that trailer.
It was slow motion.
Yeah, and it was in slow motion. Yes, exactly. So for the impaled part, well, I mean, it could be what we're all thinking, or I mean, Sephiroth's got a long pointy sword. You know what I mean? Like, people get impaled. You know, and you also got the Nibelheim flashback when when he was standing in front of the fire and he killed 2 of the townfolk right there in front of him. So it could be that. I mean, there's a massacre.
It could be
on the cargo ship. You know,
it could be Cloud's moment when he picks up the sword after being stabbed.
Exactly, that was in my notes as well. It's I mean that granted that would have been them revealing that mystery early on.
Okay, yeah.
But
yeah.
But it is what
it
I was
wouldn't be in the flashback. That's the reveal. Yeah.
But I mean, hey, I kind of feel like they are going to reveal that early because that's no longer the mystery. So I feel like they're going to kind of show that, you know, if Sephiroth impales
could be
Cloud.
It could be like I think it'd still be Cloud's recollection as he's telling them, but I think there's going to be some sort of like, just like the inside the Shinra building when they went to the VR simulation and how Sephiroth manipulated it and they all freaked out, saw visions of Meteor. There might be some sort of visions that Sephiroth's messing with him inside his own flashback.
That's a good point.
That'd be cool. I hope so. I hope there's some sort of Sephiroth meddling in his own flashback as he's recalling it. So maybe he shows him.
Yeah, that is.
Maybe he knows and
just show him straight up. Maybe, you know, like at the end of Remake when they were getting the visions of the future, like they can. Yeah. They'll just show it and it's like, no, is that how they're gonna? But I mean, it's possible. So I think that the ESRB didn't need to include that. I thought that was kind of like it's like you didn't need to do that. It's
I was going to avoid this because I avoided Remake's ESRB. I'm in it now. Like Subtext has been saying, we're all in this now.
Yeah,
true. I'm avoiding the launch trailer, but
me too.
I think I don't think this spoils too much because it just kind of just reiterates what I've already kind of like what you kind of expect.
Yeah.
I mean, but what's welcome is the splatters and pools of blood.
Yes.
It's very welcome to me.
I want to jump on that in just a second, but do want to kind of just tie up the impale part.
Yeah.
For Final Fantasy VII Remake, also said characters impaled by swords. So just keep that in mind. That Remake had that as well, but of course we know that Barrett got impaled. It was in parentheses and it said off camera. So they kind of that impaled part. Now the pools of blood, like you were talking about, Tyler. I am really happy to see that. It's just kind of like one game too late, man. You know, you could have had it on in with the Genova thing. Because no spoilers or anything, but I played Spider-Man 2. If you played Spider-Man 2, you know what I'm talking about. Like, how did they get away with that teen rating? You know what I mean?
They did something crazy.
Yeah, like, this is not teen. Final Fantasy VII Remake couldn't have blood. I mean...
It was pretty intense. Just one moment is enough to change everything for a rating.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like they, you know, the ESRB was playing Spider-Man 2 and they went, it's fine, it's Spider-Man, we can move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so very, very happy to see that they are adding the blood, they're adding the spray of blood. It's obviously not going to be a lot. It's, you know, it's going to be within reason for a teen rating, but there is the massacre on the cargo ship. There's the gold saucer battle arena that we have to think about, where instead of being with sliced up by swords, it's gunshots, and we're going to talk about that in a second as well.
Cave of the Gi too.
Yeah.
Their blood. I don't know if that was blood, but there's pools of red all over.
I'm very curious.
What is that?
I'm very curious of what that is. Is it was it water lit by red lights? Is it blood?
Yeah.
What is this? I can't wait to see what they do with that. All right, so And then continuing on with the ESRB, an assassin throwing a spinning blade at a targeted figure. Now, everybody assumes that this is Yuffie. All right, now in my standalone video, I was trying to be really cool, you know, like everybody would watch that video and they'd be like, "Oh, dude, no, Cisne, come on, Cisne has the spinning blade." And if she's kind of an assassin with a target, I feel like it's probably Cisne, but I don't know. What do you think?
It could be Cisne. I mean, she has that exact kind of blade.
Yeah.
People are saying it's. Oh, go ahead.
No, go
People
ahead.
have been saying the road figure.
Oh.
Could be an assassin. He could be wanting to assassinate, but it's just the spinning blade thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, you know, Cisne or Yuffie, but perhaps. Oh no, okay. Characters shot by soldiers is the next thing. Now, this is perhaps alluding to Dine shooting and the whole Dine thing, that whole situation. Now,
yeah.
But one thing that I do want to point out, and it's sort of an omission that has me a little bit, not concerned, but like a little bit like, that's an omission from the ESRB. If you have to, I feel like you have to include this suicide.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to like say characters committing suicide, like, and it was not written, so it makes me feel like even if it was in parentheses and it said off camera, makes me feel like something with Dine is going to be altered. Now, I don't know, man. I don't know how the ESRB truly works, ins and outs of it all.
Yeah, it'd be good to have examples of implications of suicide in other games and how easy that is, like, affected for them to have to talk about it.
It's true.
Maybe it's just implied. But if it's implied, wouldn't they have to say it? So I don't know the parameters. Yeah, if there's any chance of it. Because that's a very important scene. That's a very, because Barrett's so important. He's so special now to me, even more so than in OG. Getting that impact right is important.
Yeah, and like kind of delving into, or a little bit into the interviews and stuff, but we can kind of talk about how Katase said the themes of the game being, how can these characters band together to overcome their own fates and destinies.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like, please tell me you're not going to like go like Barrett this time around will save Dine. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, like we, don't do that. But I don't know. That's me, like full on speculation mode, like way assuming, letting my brain go too far. So I agree with you 100% that some of these, like these scenes, that one in particular is super special, and I really want to hear John Eric Bentley's performance on that as well.
Yeah, I want to point out, they've like constantly reiterated, like Katase especially, that they are sticking to the events of the OG. And then the newness of it is to carry forth this fresh, unexpected, just to keep you questioning what's going to happen. Keep you on your toes kind of thing. I feel like everything is going to be mostly accurate. The newness is going to relate like to Zack. Like how the way the kids, they've already mentioned in the interview, the role Zack plays is similar to the Whispers of Part 1. So his role equals that. So his role equals the newness. So something with that, I think the newness is mostly associated with that. And then the freshness is just them putting a fresh coat of paint on all these new moments. But I think they're going to be really on point with it, with what they're going to show. Yeah. And then towards the end, I mean, it's all going to be fresh and stuff. Gold Saucer is going to be crazy and like enhanced. Things are going to be new that you weren't in the old one, but overall, I think it's going to be very consistent to the OG.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I'm hoping so, man.
I have faith.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more, too, when we start reading off these interview quotes. But I really hope you're right on that as well, man. So some female characters are designed with revealing outfits, Tyler. Deep cleavage is in parentheses as well. Suggestive dialogue sometimes accompanies camera panning, close-ups of characters' bodies and outfits. Thank you for letting me know this, ESRB. Quote, just admit it. You're obviously captivated by my bodacious bod, end quote.
Oh, gosh.
Look,
Hojo, stop. Dang.
Hojo, man.
Chill.
Hojo.
Chill.
I was gonna say on 3, say who said that, but I like Hojo. All right, ready? On 3, who said it? 1, 2, 3. Aerith.
Hojo. Oh, okay. No. I mean, I ain't Aerith. Oh yeah. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I think that's
Aerith makes sense though.
Yeah, I really do.
The playfulness.
My bodacious bod. I don't know, man. It sounds like an Aerith thing to say, especially when she's probably standing right next to Tifa.
It's funny. It's funny. This particular quote, out of all the kinds of probably quotes that are similar to this, is pointed out. It's just funny.
Yeah, I know, right?
This one thing is
why was it even pointed out? Like what?
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's a lot of things in Remake that could have just been pointed out in the ESRB that they didn't.
Yeah.
This could just be just to get people talking.
Writing up the description. Oh, yeah. Oh, I heard you say that, Aerith. I got to put that in the description now. Whoa. Yes. I mean...
Like, there's going to be one of many.
Yeah. I mean,
I think
it's safe to say Cloud is going to be a little distracted. You know what I mean? He's going to be a little distracted on the beach. The game contains some alcohol content, as Cloud players can drink a version of moonshine while at the bar. So, I mean, I spotted a bar while looking at the under Junon stuff. I spotted a bar there. I think there was a bar at the at Calm. So I'm curious if there's any kind of gameplay implications there, or if it's you can drink a version of moonshine. So I wonder if it does anything, but does it have?
I wonder if it's like, I wonder if it's just a moment or a cutscene or some potion type of thing, maybe.
Yeah, so interesting there. Cutscenes sometimes feature drunk characters slurring their speech. A handful of scenes depict characters smoking cigars or out of hookahs. There's Sid. Thank you, Sid. That's really
Sid's already. We know Sid's gonna be in there. We know
Sid's gonna be there.
He just needs to be having his. He needs a cigar.
Yeah, I mean, what really got me it said several scenes of characters, or a handful of scenes depicting characters smoking cigars. So hopefully that means a handful of scenes with Sid in it, rather than just kind of like, hey, you see him at Rocket Town and that's it. I'm kind of hoping that he's in there for a little bit more. Maybe he pilots the tiny Bronco for you and just stays behind with the tiny Bronco while you guys do your thing. I don't know how that's going to work, but it has the same curse words as Remake does, and that's pretty much the end of that. So the ESRB right there. What did you guys think of that in chat? I haven't been keeping up with you guys, so definitely going to kind of... What's up?
Where is chat? I can't find it.
Where's chat? Chat should be there on YouTube. Yeah, over there on YouTube. Yeah, we got Nathan. Nathan is also saying that Hojo says bodacious bod.
No, yeah.
Okay,
there's everybody.
Oh, cool. Are you talking about like at the bar?
There we are. Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I missed chat this whole time.
Yeah, the deep cleavage thing, that could also be Scarlet. That's a good point. Anyways. All right, so... somebody said that was a good one to kind of gacked clones. Okay. Rashika says gacked clones, not Genesis clones, but gacked clones with the spinning blades. All right, so moving on from the ESRB rating, and let's go to the official press release that was just released today by Duncan Haney. So big shout out to him, doing awesome stuff on the Square Enix blog. And I'm going to actually see, maybe I can bring that up. There we go. Why not? So I'm going to bring that up with that right there. So this is the official press release, And I think I'll make it like, let's just make it full screen. You know, let's go full screen with it.
All right.
There we go. All right. They basically kind of show us the story so far, which it might be something that we watch together. What do you think, man? You want to watch that together?
Yeah, go for it.
All
go
right,
for it.
Let's watch
I've
that
seen
together.
it like multiple times, but let's go again.
Yeah, let's go again.
When there is so
And we can
much
kind of
to
talk
tell,
over it because I feel like everybody else has seen
where
it too.
should I even start?
Yeah.
So Red
With all that
13
we saw,
is narrating it,
what we
which was
heard,
really cool.
what we felt,
Because, like,
this planet of ours,
he's got that voice,
destiny,
man.
our part in it.
What
I'm not
gets me, though, is if Red 13 is kind of narrating it, in my mind, I was thinking to myself, like, when Aerith, like, transferred some sort of thoughts to him,
Ruled by the Shinra
kind of was enlightened by something. I wonder
Yeah.
if, I don't think she showed him, like, future memories, right? Or do you think maybe she just showed him everything that led up to that moment? Like, it's just kind of like enlightened him of like, hey, this is why we're here, rather than.
I think
saying
he.
it.
I think the
those who could rose up in her defense.
he was given like
The anti-
because of his nature
avalanche.
and his understanding of things. She did impart what she knew as much as possible. He gained like insight to like
To destroy
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, see, like he's.
I know.
With him narrating this, he's like he's the one to narrate it, which I thought was. I just think it was an interesting choice. I
Yeah.
mean, I know the voice is awesome. The voice is. It's
Yes.
definitely a narrator voice. It's just I thought, why Red 13? But maybe
So
it was
so
just
okay.
cool.
So here's from something from the actual scenario.
in motion. With reactor
Because they talked about the loss of his sanity at that moment when she touched him. So he had like he was in a bestial state,
Gotcha.
and Aerith liberated him from those emotions. So he's acting like a wild animal in response to his scientific experiments. He's on edge,
Yeah.
and then Aerith.
Right there. Hold on. I wanted to point that up. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks to Aerith's courage in approaching him, she's able to contain Red 13's emotions, leaving the Whispers no particular need to intervene. Furthermore,
Okay.
through his contact with Aerith, Red 13 is able to gain knowledge that only a long-lived individual like himself could see. That said, because the amount of information is so vast, he's unable to absorb it all clearly.
Okay. So yeah.
So, also there's another thing. Oh, so he's given a vast quantity of visions, and then he is given purpose, and returns to his senses.
Wonder if he's.
So
gonna
she did
kind
that
of-
to calm him.
Yeah. I wonder if he's going to be kind of the one to like transfer that information over to Bugenhagen. Like, I wonder if when you get to Cosmic
Yeah.
Canyon, like if he's going to be like Bugenhagen's going to try to help him make sense of what he's got going on.
Yeah.
The reason why I stopped it here is because there has been some talk. Every time we bring up Platefall, and me personally, I kind of felt the same way.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
it
yeah.
says right here, Red 13 says, in the end, they destroyed the Platefall in Sector 7, killing thousands. So I thought that was important to note. It was in the
Yes.
Material Ultimania. The Material Ultimania said like the death toll, but it wasn't said in game. And now we have an in-game confirmation that there were thousands
Yes.
of people killed in this thing. So
Yeah.
it's just the game itself. I feel like it didn't really convey that as well. So
It glossed over it kind of quick.
yeah,
The moment,
yeah.
the impact, it just needs a little more impact in the severity of what's happening.
Yeah.
Friends were lost. Avalanche had no time to grieve.
And then also because this is confirmed. This is in the main menu of the Rebirth.
Yeah,
This is the
recap.
this is the in-game recap. Yeah.
It was kind of speculated upon that this was going to be a full-on CG rendered trailer, but as you can see, it's not. So what that makes me think is we do see sequences of the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake in a full CG render.
Yes.
I guess that's what you call it now. It's a full motion video. Are we still going to call it FMVs? I don't know. But basically, you do see that though when they're battling Sephiroth, which was a in-game rendered in Remake, and now it was shown with a CG render. So I think they are recreating that moment and might be the intro to Rebirth. But this is the recap video that they prepared for any kind of newcomers or people who just want to get caught up. It's Red 13 is going to start saying some interesting things here. He assisted them in freeing Eren. What was that? Trans Fans Toys 365 says, I watched it 10 times in 2 hours. Yep, here we go. The SEO. Corpse of Guva.
Eventually, we too made good our escape. Pursuing troopers defeated, we raced toward Midgar's edge.
This is I like that they did this. This is nice.
Yet Sephiroth
Here we go. Sipo once again.
Suddenly, deafening screams rent the air. Whispers, the arbiters of fate, descended upon the city.
So, nothing we haven't heard before, right? But I like that it's a very direct explanation of this stuff.
Before their imposing wall, Aerith warned us. This was destiny's crossroads. Every moment, every action, every step taken had all been as the Whispers willed it.
Okay.
To fight them was to break free. On the other side of fate, Sephiroth waited.
On the other side of fate. Interesting.
Whispers undulating within him.
Undulating. What does undulating mean? Please help.
Undulating. On the spot vocab.
What does undulating mean, chat? Let me see.
Undulating just feels like
having a smoothly rising and falling form or outline. Undulating.
Very Genova feeling description. Huh.
Devin Fox, thank you so much for your super chat there. I wonder if Red is recapping the story for Yuffie since he doesn't mention anything about her part in the intermission. That's it's like Devin. I was thinking the same. I was like, okay, but why Red 13? You know, like that's what I've been. It's like, but why? So that's a cool little a cool little thing.
It's either in context of the story, or he's just the best voice possible to do a recap.
With okay, so with rival Sundering Destiny. The shackles of destiny broken. All right.
He does say they, in terms of how he doesn't seem involved in the story itself as he's explaining it. Just like he's just narrating.
That's true.
Keeping himself out of it, huh?
Whew! All right, man. I'm so freaking. That freaking gets me hyped, dude. It gets me so hyped for that. Okay, so going on a little bit further, I want to bring up this image because this is the best look at it because it's a full screen image here of Calm. And you know me, how I would just look at this and analyze it. So I'm just doing a quick analyzation of it. analysis is probably a better word than that. I've heard it both ways. But you can go in here. We got the clock tower. It's the town's famous clock tower. I think I showed in my breakdown video that there were some stairs leading up to it, and you should hopefully be able to go in there. But yeah, so they said Midgar is visible from that tower. What I love about this, Tyler, is that it's kind of nestled up here on these rocks, or on this cliff, really giving that sense of like this is a fort. Right? It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that in the description, but it just seems like this was a strategic fort at one point, or a strategic like base. And because it would be really hard to invade that. But there is this path that goes down from here. I would kind of point out that there's a path that kind of goes down this way. Oh, wait, you can't see that on the screen. My bad. So it goes down this way. When you fast travel to Calm, you start right here about like a little bit in the gates. Now you are able to travel backwards on that. And I think maybe you come out of here. I bet this little checkpoint is blocked off and you won't be able to go any further this way. But you will be able to go down these stairs and get back over to the grassland area. So multiple different ways to enter the city, because you have on the backside over here where they exited, and you could probably come up here and enter the city that way as well. What are your thoughts on Calm?
Calm is incredible.
Yeah.
Even just like they're coming out of an underground bombing shelter when they exit. I mean, so many different lore things when it comes to the creation of this. And also, it's also a Nibelheim type of town, destroyed and recreated.
That's right.
It's just so fascinating, man. And at the end of Intergrade, Yuffie's intermission, that moment of them walking to Calm, I get emotional every time. That moment is what's carrying my hype forward, and then Calm is that initial jumping off point.
Yeah,
it's the thing I've been looking forward to. I mean, even though it's the first thing you're going to see, Calm and the flashback are the things I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, man.
And it's the first thing we're going to see.
I know, and I can't believe like the town of Calm has me freaking hyped. Which is such a small little circle area in the original, but it's one screen basically. But now it's fully realized into this town, the city.
And there's so much to it.
Yeah.
I wonder how many like paths are going to go into it. Like in Ocarina of Time, Castletown, there's like 1 or 2 alleys, and that made the town feel so big to me when I was younger. In Zelda, if they have a couple of alleyways leading into other smaller areas, at least that's the cool. I love that. I hope they have some extra areas.
It definitely seemed like it had some things like that, though. I mean, you had those stairs that kind of led up to the tower. You had like some kind of underground tunnel going on. And then like I pointed out just now, maybe even multiple entrances and exits to the city itself. Somebody was in the comments, one of my videos, probably the Calm breakdown, and was like, this kind of defeats the purpose of what Calm is. It's supposed to be like a small, quaint town. I get that. I do understand that. But I think you already see the juxtaposition of Calm versus Midgar, and you have the beautiful sky above. You have people laughing and just enjoying their life. Like some people are enjoying their life. There's other people that are going to be in here that really despise Shinra. I think this is going to really convey the complete opposite of what Midgar showed. So I'm just really, really happy, like you said at the top of the show, that the beautiful sunlight, the sky, the open sky and stuff.
Yeah.
We get to look at the Mithril Mine. It looks beautiful. It does look like Crisis Core Reunion might have used some assets. Obviously, it wasn't able to, make it look this beautiful, but so basically, it once was a bustling Mithril Mine. connecting the grasslands to the Junon. But what I thought was interesting, Shinra developed a superior mineral of their own. Now, I'll probably dig into that a little bit more, but if anybody in chat knows, I'm kind of curious. What was that mineral? What's more superior than mithril? So that was interesting. And basically, it's filled with monsters now. We get to look at some new characters. We got Broden, and basically the owner and operator of Calm. This is really cool. Rhonda, we met her in that trailer. The mayor and sheriff of Under Junon. Priscilla, Billy, Chocobo Bill. This one I do kind of want to touch on this just for a second because it's a theory of mine that he's the grandson of Bill and he lost his parents at a young age. I think this is important detail. Because I feel like his father's still alive, and I think he's the hunter at the beginning of Remake. I think there was something in the material Ultimania that kind of hinted towards that. You can watch my breakdown video of the Chocobo Farm. I think it's like the what to expect in the Chocobo Farm video. So if you're curious about that, go watch that video. But I kind of explained that I think that Hunter is related and could be the father of Billy and and Chloe. I still call her Chol. So yeah, we got Chloe here. Some cool things. We don't really need to break down this in detail unless there's something that you specifically want to talk about. But
there's one point people have been mentioning about Broden.
Okay.
His illness.
That's a good point.
They say unknown illness. Who knows what that is? I wonder if they. I don't think it's anything crazy. I just think he's a sick person, maybe. But people say geostigma early, but that don't make any sense to me. For that to be in this, the theming of this story.
Yeah, like the only way that would make sense to me is if they say they want to bring geostigma in, because I still go on the theory. Even regardless of everything that we're going to talk about in just a second with all the interviews, I still believe that at the end of part 3, it's going to encompass the entirety of the compilation and bring a definitive conclusion. That's still where my mind space is, and I think that kind of goes to show what the developers are saying in these interviews. I still just don't pay it no mind, and we're going to talk about it in a second. I feel like everything's going to be a definitive conclusion, and in order to do that, you bring in the geostigma. It kind of was resolved in Advent Children, but still, if that is his unknown illness, it could have been when Sephiroth goes back. If that's still the theory, the popular theory, goes back in time. Maybe he brought some of that dark life stream energy with him, and he introduced geostigma into the world earlier than it was supposed to be. But yeah, so it's possible that it's geostigma. It's possible that this means nothing. But the fact that
it's a character trait for this guy.
Yeah, exactly. So interesting stuff there, but they did find the need to highlight that in this description, but who knows. They do talk about Kujata. I had done on a whole entire summon video, and I never published it. You don't even know how many times I do this, Tyler. I voice over a whole entire thing. Like, I write a script, I voice over it, and then nobody cares, man. A little late to that party. But anyways, I did a whole summon breakdown, and I was like, he's using Try Disaster in that trailer. I'm like, the whole thing going on there. I talked about how he's got a fire head, a ice head, and a lightning head. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, so Kujata, you get to see cool little that, and you get some unofficial render. You got the proto relics. Tyler, what are your thoughts on they seem to alter space-time?
Dude, that's fascinating. It's just fascinating. It's just what is this going to be?
Yeah.
Is it going to be an instance of you enter an instance and it's like this battle, or is it going to be just items you go to, or a chest, or a guarded chest? I have no idea.
I feel like it's close.
Cause strange phenomena.
Yeah, like a strange phenomena, In Alter Spacetime, I really feel like this is the side quest for Gilgamesh. Like, I don't know, man. It just kind of feels like a Gilgamesh type thing. Alter Spacetime, and you got his whole thing with dimensions and stuff like that. It could connect to Zack in some way. I don't know, because Zack's world and the world we're in. So it's just really interesting of what these proto relics are going to do. The Spacetime we have seen in Ever Crisis as well, where it was like I think it was the exact wording. Where like the live stream can, blah, 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 it flows through all of this and it flows through space time. Yeah. Sometimes letting Zidane from Final Fantasy IX in.
Yeah, anything can happen live stream. Yeah.
Anything can happen live stream, yeah. So there's that to kind of speculate on and be excited about. I hope that it brings in some really crazy monsters. In my opinion, like, I'm cool with this as long as it doesn't I don't think it would be really impactful to the overall story. I don't think it's going to have any effect on that. But if it brings in like a freaking I don't even know, man. I don't even know how to, if it brings in Bahamut from freaking Final Fantasy X or something. I don't know. That would, I don't know. Just bring me in some super bosses.
Crazy.
Yeah, that would be way.
That's crazy.
Sin comes flying in, like oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be really cool if it brought in some super bosses. I would like that. And then materia development, so we kind of get that crisis core, materia fusion, but this looks like a little different, where you can have fire and ice materia. Very interesting. I'm really excited that for like this whole aspect of being in the menus, messing around with your materia development. It's very RPG, man. This is very like I want to spend some time in the menus. I want to spend some time getting my materia just right. There's a super boss. Sin just flew in, and I need to get the best. I gotta get my materia straight.
Yeah. And you need to strategize. You need to figure out. I love being in the menus. That's what I missed in Final Fantasy 16. Being in the trying to figure out and find a solution to something. Yeah. In the RPG style.
Yes.
The combat style I get that was the point of 16. It was just I'm just missing it. I'm missing it, and definitely Rebirth's going to do it.
Yeah, that's a super fair point, man. And it's one of my criticisms on the game was that, like, it's like, dude, you have the elemental strengths and weaknesses, you have the icons. I wanted to spend a little more time with my icons and try to figure out what was the best thing to approach the next battle. So the fact that this is coming in, I mean, we had it with hard mode on Remake. I think it was perfect, and we're going to talk about the that as well here in just a second. The Chocobo Teaks, we've learned a lot about that, but we do know now that it's going to impact its performance in Chocobo races, so that's cool. This image here, somebody pointed out on Twitter, it might have been subtext, it might have been someone else, but it looks like Kyrie. It's got the Kyrie hat.
Yep, subtext.
That's kind of cool. So combat.
Yeah, it's Kyrie's outfit.
Yeah, it's modeled off of Kyrie's outfit. Yeah. So combat styles and difficulty levels. Unfortunately, it's the same image here, but there was another image that says dynamic mode. So easy, normal, and dynamic. So you get to kind of choose whether you want the active or the classic, just like you could in Remake. But now you get dynamic difficulty. Enemies grow stronger as your characters do. So perfect for players who crave constant challenge. I'm super excited about this, Tyler.
Yes.
So, the dynamic difficulty scaling is kind of like, it reminds me of Final Fantasy VIII. You know what I mean? Where your characters get stronger, enemies get stronger. And it could be. So I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I really wish they would talk about this kind of stuff a little bit more. I want to know the gameplay more than I want to know any kind of story teasers anymore. I just want to know, hey, tell me all about dynamic difficulty. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Because
how well thought out is this?
Yeah. Because like, to be honest, I think I would have preferred a hard mode. I am super excited about dynamic difficulty, but I think I might have preferred the hard mode over that. Whereas, like, okay, for hard mode, it was, it's difficult, but I feel like I can just, overpower, get myself overpowered and then go into the fight. There's always that kind of feeling to it, a Final Fantasy, where some people just like to grind, get overpowered, and then go into the fight. There's a couple different things going on. So hard mode also like adjusted the moveset of different enemies and all this other stuff, and sometimes even boss fights were completely different. So I hope that hard mode still exists in the New Game Plus. Like, I hope that they do the same thing where they alter the boss fights and things like that. But dynamic difficulty scales the enemies to your level, basically. So you seem like you were really excited about that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't want things to die in, like, I want to be able to do my combos. I want to be able to do the things and that the battle be over in an instant. Because if you know how to play this game, already there's signs that we're gonna roll through this game. There's already signs. It already feels like we have a grasp at this, and once you get it figured out, boom, you got it. I want that. This is a good sign that even the game itself might be a little harder than normal than the other game.
Yep.
Just the idea that they have something like this, maybe even the enemies themselves might have more challenge inherently than Remake did. Hopefully there's some Hell House type mechanic involved.
Bring on
in some of the bosses and stuff like that.
Triceratank, baby. Bring it on. Give that a full-on Hell House makeover. So that's really... It's really exciting for me. I'm so happy that they added this dynamic difficulty. I'm hoping that it goes really well and it's something that's like a fan favorite, because we all know that Final Fantasy 16 could have used something like this. I think Square Enix and Final Fantasy in general has had this mindset that gamers, or at least Final Fantasy gamers, just maybe they need a handheld a little bit too much. I'm hoping
they don't give us enough credit.
They don't give us enough credit, exactly. So I'm hoping that this is like, hey, we see you guys, we've heard you, we know what you guys want, and we've put in dynamic difficulty. That's it for the official press release.
Hopefully, I want to say, hopefully, we don't know how involved this is. I'm glad that it's there, because that means enemies. It will take longer to kill an enemy. The hard part about doing a hard mode for this is the items. The items were a big part of hard mode in Remake. You can't use items. It seems like crafting is such a huge deal in Rebirth. I guess they could take out all crafting, but that's a part of the experience that they might not want to take away for a hard mode. So this makes sense in that aspect. But I want to know what they're going to do if what is considered hard, like the title of hard mode. Once you there's like active, classic, hard. What is hard? This is dynamic.
That is a very interesting point.
All these things are coming up.
Yeah, you take away items, but like you're saying, like, wait a second, crafting is such an important part now. So that is that's very interesting, and maybe that's why dynamic exists. But that's a really interesting point. I really hope that there is a hard mode still, because I mean, just changing up the battles was enough for a replay. Like of course, I'm gonna replay it anyway, Tyler. But like, it's like that was definitely a cool, a third or fourth playthrough. It's like, yes, something different.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to these developer interviews. So now we're gonna kind of talk about the hype and the skepticism part. So Tyler, I know you're super hype. Go ahead and take it away with some quotes. Now, these are courtesy of @ShinraArc, fantastic user on Twitter that just gathers up all of the interviews, and it keeps us all informed. So definitely go follow @ShinraArc.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, do you have one in particular you want to start with?
Well, I think we just got to point out how awesome Hamaguchi is.
Yeah.
and how everything he says is like perfect.
Yep.
And then Katase, hit or miss,
Scares
but
me.
you can't. Hamaguchi has not let me down. in what he says
Hamaguchi
yet.
gets it, baby. He gets it. I have a
Yeah.
document in my, like, I was writing out a document, and the title of the video was going to be called "The Director Gets It." That was like the director of FF7 Rebirth gets it, and that was going to be a whole standalone video.
Yes.
I'm just
Yeah.
every time he answers a question, it's hype, it's about the
Yeah.
gameplay, it's a little bit about the story, and when he says it about the story, he seems like he really understands the game more than even like Katase or Nomura. Like it's
Yeah.
so weird to me that he seems to have a better understanding of it all, or at least he has a better way of speaking to the public.
Yeah.
And I think that
Yes.
is super important. Also, shout out to him being a face of this game too. So like with Yoshi P,
Yes.
kind of traveling the world with Final Fantasy 16 and kind of bringing that hype and being the face of Final Fantasy 16, the development team.
Yes.
I think it's fantastic that they have Katase and Hamaguchi traveling the world and being the face. I want to see more of that, guys.
Yep.
I'm really happy that they're putting developers on in the spotlight. I think it's a long time coming.
Yep.
So
And Katase acknowledges that. He's been acknowledging that in the interviews that both Naoki Hamaguchi and Yoshida are the face, and they're going to be the future. The future is in their hands, and capable hands. They're super capable. Feels
Agreed.
great.
yeah,
And Katase is handing it over to them, so that feels great too. That he has the foresight and he's accepting of it. You know,
yeah.
Katase's resume is the best at Square Enix. I would say he has the best resume.
Yeah.
His age, I think the freshness of Hamaguchi and his pure love for what he's doing and his understanding of the community. I think he has an understanding of what people want.
I think so
and
too.
I'm excited about that.
Me too, man. So do you have a quote for me, or do you want me to just kind of kick it off?
Let's see. Let me just look. Oh yeah, the quote. Okay, so there's a recently talking about Sephiroth being the
Oh.
ultimate villain.
Yeah.
Sephiroth is the ultimate villain. There's nothing behind the curtain. They're not going to diminish the concept of Sephiroth being the ultimate bad. And that kind of gets rid of the redemption arc theory people have been having, this fear of redemption. Because and also, personally, I feel like his humanity is important over the Genova monster. His overcoming the Genova, him overcoming Genova, and his will overpowering that adds to this that he's the ultimate bad, and that feels scarier than just a force of nature, which is Genova. And it kind of was that in the old games. I mean, you destroyed the idea of Sephiroth in Cloud's mind, ultimately, in the final battle. But
So
I think making Sephiroth over Genova is a scary concept, scarier than just being Genova controlling Sephiroth.
I kind of want to read this entirety of the quote, because it really
Okay.
it brings me hype. Okay, but I mean, of course,
Yeah.
I will follow that up with saying, like, you take this with, I don't want to say take it with a grain of salt, because this is a good thing, right? It's not like it's a
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like I'm trying to read between lines. I'm trying to like really kind of figure this thing out, because I know they usually don't talk so straight with you about this. But it says, essentially, we had a conversation and decided something very early in development that has held true ever since. All these years, within Final Fantasy VII universe, there is no one better than Sephiroth. He will always be the strongest, the most powerful, and the most evil there is. In many RPGs, there's what we call boss inflation. You meet a very powerful boss who is the ultimate warrior, but oh boy, behind that character is another who turns out to be even more powerful. You defeat him, and surprise, there was an even more powerful one behind him. And that leaves those who arrive first in a bad place. We decided we weren't going to do that in Final Fantasy VII, that there was going to be no one above Sephiroth. He's always going to be the big bad and the most powerful villain. I think that may have had something to do with it remaining so memorable, because within Final Fantasy VII, there is no one better than Sephiroth. Man, that was coming from Hobby Consolas. So yeah. Anyways, but that whole encompassing quote gets me really freaking hype, because I am one of those people that didn't want the Sephiroth redemption art. I'm really happy that this seemingly confirms that he will not be. But I say seemingly because I'm also kind of like, I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to believe it. But basically everything that we've gotten from the news this week is really reaffirming, if anything, that they're like, guys, we are going to stick to what you know and love with Final Fantasy VII. We're just doing some different things here and there. And I feel like I've heard this before. You know what I mean? And then it's just so I'm like, I'm in this boat where I'm just like, I hear you. I don't believe you, but I hear you. You got me excited, but I mean, I'm not gonna. I got my expectations in check. But yeah, so it's very interesting that this was a full-on quote. I am so happy to hear it. Sephiroth should be evil. He should be the big bad. And watching like Sleep Easy videos, I mean, that was the most villainous thing that you can possibly do if his theory is like correct. I'm like, oh, that's freaking badass. I love that. Like, okay, you got me. It's a trap. So yeah. We got to go on to our next one. What's our next one? I'm glad you pointed that one out. I really like that.
Yeah. So let me think. Let me go through this.
We can talk about, if you want to. There was a lot of
go ahead.
interview quotes that kind of hinted at Aerith and her like fate. So there was a lot of quotes that were kind of like leading towards that. Now, what's your thoughts on all of this? Do you feel that they were kind of dancing around it, or do you feel like it was almost basically confirmed with this and the ESRB description and all that other stuff? Do you feel like they're like, hey, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts right now?
The Aerith situation and how they're going about talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the interviewers overstepped the boundaries. And that's the obvious question that's going to... They overstep the questions constantly, so...
Yeah.
What can you say? And they have to say answer.
Let me ask you a question about the end of your game. If I was doing the interview,
most important part of the game.
It's just not me. I know you're looking for the big scoop. I know you're looking for it's going to be retweeted 100 times because they responded with absolute silence, and it's just like... hey, you get to post that.
What can you say?
I don't know, man. I get it. You want the big scoop, you want the big clicks and everything, but it's just kind of like, really, you gonna ask them straight up about the ending of your game, of their game? So I 100% agree. Kind of overstepped there.
But the whole mystery of what they're setting up, of course, is all in response to Aerith. That's the big question. So I don't know how they're gonna do it, especially. And the way they're talking about it, I don't feel like it's confirmed still.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're... Because there needs to be a surprise, and they keep talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's... My brain goes back and forth. She's dead. Oh, wait, no, but they're going to... I think she's going to die.
Mm.
But something's going to be different about it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to deal with
something with Zack. Yeah. Something Zack in that moment, because Zack is what has been introduced. Either he sees her, he sees Cloud kill her, or he thinks he does, or something. I don't know. The way Zach is going to see everybody, I think that's a big moment. I think Zach is going to know about it, and the roles reversed, where she found out he was dead, and I don't know what's going to happen. It's the hardest question you could possibly
and obviously
answer.
It should be, right? Because that's the whole reason why people are going to go out and play the game. Like, this is the whole build up. Everybody's waiting for that moment, which is something that I've always believed was going to be the ending of Rebirth. Anyway, it's like that's what everybody's looking forward to. That the Forgotten Capital.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like
they've done so good though.
Yeah.
But I still don't know. That's how I think that's how good they've done in interviews.
Yeah.
Because I'm not convinced. I'm still not convinced either way.
It was quotes like this.
I think that's what they want.
It was quotes like this that really kind of swayed one way. It was he would like to emphasize how important it is in the game to create bonds between Cloud and Aerith and other party members, because he wouldn't answer about that was in a question about Aerith's fate, and of course he wouldn't reveal that, but he would like to emphasize how important bonds are. And then Hamaguchi says that with the synergy system, narration and gameplay blend so that everything contributes to achieving the final goal, generating a massive emotional impact on the player when we finally discover what happens to Aerith. So it's like, whew, that is a very like heavy response there. That's a heavy response. It almost makes you want to go, okay, you're being too obvious about it. You know, like if she did die, then you wouldn't have been so obvious about it. But now you're kind of swaying my brain to think this way. It's like Princess Bride all over again, man. It's inconceivable. You know what I mean? It's Princess Bride all over. It's trying to outsmart me. But yes, so that there was some quotes like that really kind of was like, really? So you're trying to strengthen bonds, which I think is, by the way, brilliant. That they're doing this synergy system, creating a bond between characters, because it's going to be the bond between those characters if Aerith does die. It's going to be that bond that's going to help Cloud out of that. And after that whole thing, when Cloud is laying in the at the Forgotten Capital's like rest place end. I don't know if it's an end, but when he's laying there, it was his party that convinced him to get back up and keep going. You got to keep fighting. So that bond is going to be so important. So I love that, and they talk about this with how a trilogy arc should work. And of course they're taking note from one of the greatest trilogies of all time, the original trilogy for Star Wars. And with that quote, because this one has me excited. Trilogies often face the middle chapter problem, where the second installment must build on the first, lead into the third, and somehow stand as a satisfying piece of entertainment in its own right. It is notoriously difficult of a balance to strike, but one film in particular serves as almost a textbook example of how to do it right. The Empire Strikes Back. Quote, there is a lot you can learn from that film in terms of how to do a second part of a trilogy well. End quote, says Katase. Katase with a W, man. Like a rare W there, Katase. You know what I mean? Thank you for that,
There
Katase.
you go, man.
There we go.
Yes.
I wouldn't say rare W. It's just like, this is the one thing Katase says that got me super hype, and I'm like, that wasn't Hamaguchi? You know what I mean? Like Hamaguchi said,
Hamaguchi can't steal in the show, but he has to come in sometimes.
Hamaguchi referenced Beauty and the Beast, the remake of that. Katase bringing it with this Empire Strikes Back. Thank you very much. You got the setup, the setting, the characters, who they are, all explained in the first part. The real role of the second part is to deepen that relationship between them, explore it further, go into the relationships between the characters and how they relate to each other a lot more, which is very much what we focused on here. Also, linking through to the third part, the climax of the trilogy. Obviously, you have to have the big twists, the unexpected aspects, the things that will throw people a little bit, get them motivated to want to see what happens in the end of the story. And like I say, there is a lot you can learn from that film. It is very good to bear in mind in terms of the right way of going about the second part. Whew, man. And I love Empire Strikes Back.
Don't get better than that.
It does not get better than that. And we know how Empire Strikes Back ends. You know what I mean? Like, it's
so dour.
It's a dour one for sure. And it's and there's some big revelations going on in that movie as well. God, I'm just so... this quote is probably the most hype for me. I'm a big Star Wars guy, so this is definitely my favorite quote of the whole entire interview compilation.
It proves that they're in the right headspace, though.
Yes.
It reaffirms how they're going about it, what they feel, how they're thinking about it. It's the right place to be. It's not in this weird. We don't have to worry. We don't have to be like, this is the best. We know where their head is at, and Hamaguchi's head's screwed on perfect.
Yeah.
And then when Kitase does this, it's like, okay, yeah, you all got it.
Yeah. So yeah, with like encompassing all of these interview quotes and stuff, I do believe that was it kind of feels like that has been the purpose of these round of interviews, was to really just go out there and be like, listen, there's a lot of theories out there. There's a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, we are changing things up a bit, but we are sticking true to your original Final Fantasy VII experience, the overall crux of the story and all that other stuff. The thing about that for me in particular is just like, I feel like I've heard this before. And at the end of Remake, there's that it's almost unrecognizable at that point. But until you start to dig in a little deeper, you're like, oh, yeah, I guess the main through line is still intact. Yeah, I guess you're right. But I think that I just don't want people, or I don't care, but I mean, like I see it on Twitter, but I see it on Twitter where people, I feel like, they're already convinced. They're like, see, everything's fine. And it's just like, man, they really got you. But for me personally, I'm just like, don't, expect the unexpected here. I mean, they literally said it's the unknown journey. So I think that there's going to be I still feel like major changes. And now this leads me into the final quote that we want. Oh, unless there's another one that you want to talk about. Excuse me.
Well, Katase's... Baby Seal said this like a couple days ago. Katase's concept of a faithful reimagining remake is part 1, and you see how much is different in part 1. That's his. That is what Kitase thinks is faithful. So carry that onwards towards Rebirth. Is going to be different things in there.
Yeah.
I welcome the new things.
Yeah.
I'm excited. This is what's getting us talking, and it's what's making me most excited.
Yeah, and it's like
they are very effective. It's very effective in making me like expecting something as if it's the first time again.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's definitely working, right? It's like it's capturing what they want to do, and it took me a while. Everybody knows that it took me a long time to get to that point. Nick, that would be like a whole podcast in itself. But basically, Nick said in chat, how in the world is Remake unrecognizable at the end? It's like it kind of is. There was a lot of stuff that happens in Remake that had me kind of like, whoa, you know what I mean? It took a long time to get that main through line, but like to be like, okay, everything's good. I mean, obviously I'm seeing Rebirth now. I'm super freaking stoked. I'm super excited about it. And I've gotten myself into a mind space where I'm like, I'm excited for whatever whatever comes, and I think that's a healthy mindset to be in. Like, it's just like, hey, just be excited for whatever they have to offer. Let us embrace whatever it brings. So yes, I think that's a healthy mind space to be in. I don't think it's probably a good idea to go into it and be like, okay, yeah, everything, everything's going to be exactly the same. I kind of feel like,
and being
I was just going to go into
the shift. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I was just going to go into the next quote, which is going to kind of wrap up the round of quotes, which is the one about Advent Children. So, like, if you have something you want to say before that, or
no, I'm good. Go ahead and start with the quote.
Okay, so this is the one about linking up with Advent Children. This is the one that has everybody like, oh yeah, dude. Well, now that we know it's going to link up with Advent Children, what could they change? In Advent Children, Aerith is dead. Like, I mean, like Zack is dead. Like, so if we're gonna get there at one point, all of these things will happen eventually. And I don't know if this has already been talked about in other people's videos. I haven't really been able to watch a lot of people's reactions to that. So in my own headspace, I have basically the quote was, "We are finally going to link up with Advent Children. That is going to be part of canon." Katase confirms. "The overall storyline, the developments, will not go wildly out in a way that will not add up to Advent Children in the end. I don't think anyone wanted that. That's not what we're looking to create here. To make sure it doesn't become stale and people know exactly where it's going, that it doesn't just follow the original word for word, we added some extra elements which add a little bit of doubt. Getting the right balance of that is so key. Ultimately, we're not trying to change Final Fantasy VII's story into something really different. The overall balance wouldn't really allow for that anyway." End quote. So, I mean, that's a really direct answer that I still feel like is bouncing off of me. What do you think, Tyler?
I think he's confirming this is still a remake project, and people freaking out that it's completely going to go off. Their introduction of unknown is not off the rails crazy. It is in line with OG, just like you're going to go to Gold Saucer. Yeah. You're going to go to Junon. It all leads to Advent Children. Those sequence of events are going to happen. I think he's just reconfirming that for peace of mind. It is a big statement because it almost defines the whole story. Yeah. Before we get there.
Yeah, it's like we know the destination, but we don't know the journey.
But we already did know that because it's a remake.
Right.
Because we know, because like the same concept is of, we know we're going to the Forgotten Capital. We know it ends up at Advent Children. That same idea I don't think it's as literal. I think it's just as natural as OG. Put Advent Children into OG at the end of, like, consider it as part of that concept. And it's not this. I think it's just a comforting thing for people who don't want it to be off the rails crazy. But Max was mentioned Flight of the Navigator as that old movie. I never seen it, but I've seen synopsises of it and stuff like that. But the concept of the destination is the same. I'm not really qualified to talk about this because I haven't seen the movie. But for those in chat, Flight of the Navigator is something that Max mentioned that maybe y'all could look into if you are for that kind of story. But for me, my headcanon, this is still me. I know a lot of people don't agree. Yeah. I like the concept of this being a continuation. And Sephiroth coming back with knowledge from the future. Yeah. I like the concept of the sequel. Yeah. And it still kind of plays into that. I mean, it still does. I mean, it's just, I'm going to forever think that because I think that's such a cool idea.
Yeah.
and it's disguised as a remake in context of the story is really sick to me.
Yeah, I 100%
even if it isn't,
agree,
but-
man. Like I do agree with that, and I think Remake kind of sets that up. So it's almost,
It sets it up great.
I get where I get what they're saying, like or at least the whole, like, hey, it's not where you're going, it's how you get there type thing. I've heard that saying, and like it is interesting to kind of figure out, like, well, things are all scrambled right now. How do we get to Advent Children from here? And that makes you want to keep playing to find out.
Yeah.
I personally agree with you as well, where I really, at this point, I've kind of already gotten myself set to, like, oh, this is post Advent Children coming back to remake the original game. And if that isn't the case, well, then I'm just kind of like, wait a second, though. I mean, of course, there's a whole 2 other games to go, and there's a lot more story to tell. But I'm like, wait a second, though. What was the purpose of you bringing in Whispers and Arbiters of Fate, and like what was the purpose of their future memories and all this other stuff? It's just like, I don't know.
That's why I want to make a point of these interviews. They're on the spot, answering these obtrusive questions.
Yeah.
And most of the audience is not going to read these interviews. Only really hardcore like us.
Yeah.
People who are playing the game have no idea about the interviews. 90% of people. And what they're setting up really sets up as a sequel. I mean, all these, there's too much. It's too much. Even Cloud holding his arm when he sees Sephiroth on the bridge for Genova.
Yeah, they've already
and he's
referenced
like, that's like a hint at Geostigma.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the Geostigma future. His arm's going to be affected.
Mm-hmm.
It's just those nods.
Yeah, there's a lot of
It makes
nods.
it too cool of an idea.
Yeah, and it seems like, so that brings me to my whole interpretation of this. It says pretty bluntly that it was like the storyline developments will not go wildly out in a way that will not add up to Advent Children in the end. Now, if you want to kind of take that quote, twist it around, and finagle it in the way that you want it to work out, you could say that he's cleverly saying that these developments and stuff will not go out of the way of adding up to Advent Children, because Advent Children happens. It's, as he says, it is canon, because he at the end of Advent Children, that's where he's coming from.
It is a pivotal point. Yeah.
So linking up with Advent Children means, it links up to Advent Children, but not in the way that you think. It's not, it's like,
exactly. Okay, you just worded it like how he's
awesome.
Canonizing Advent Children in that it's a staple point of why remake is even a thing.
Yeah. So that is, I'm glad we're on the same page about that, where it's just kind of like, I don't think this means, I think it's just a clever way of saying that, Advent Children is canon because those popular theories are correct. This is Sephiroth from at the end of Advent Children. All of this stuff happens already. That's why they have future memories. That's why the Arbiters of Fate are involved in all this other stuff. So I think linking up to Advent Children just means that it links up to Advent Children, all right. I mean, that's, I feel like that's everything. Oh, there was Hamaguchi saying like something. I was like, okay, calm it down a little bit, Hamaguchi. You know what I mean? Like, calm down. He says that we're trying to make Final Fantasy VII Rebirth more Final Fantasy VII than Final Fantasy VII. Well, I was like,
crazy. What are you doing to me, Hamaguchi?
Pump the brakes there, man.
Where is this? I gotta read it again.
I know, I can't find it. I'm gonna just type
Where is it? I had it saved.
Okay.
Nah, I don't have. Okay, wait. Yeah. Okay, I found it.
Okay.
It's great. It's just great. It's the best. They get it.
You want to
frame it?
You read it. What's up?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You go for it.
We gotta frame it. It's
Can you quote it?
It's
Or like,
just great.
Can you send it to me? Send me.
Oh
the
no
link?
no. Oh
yeah. I was gonna say, do you want me to put it up on stream?
No.
Oh, you want it
should
to be a
this
frame
as
like right
picture.
back here? More
Yeah,
Final
yeah.
Fantasy than Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 7. All right, go ahead. You
Yeah,
read
yeah,
it up.
yeah.
You read it up.
Hamaguchi. I offer you the perspective of a director. In my case, I'm not working on a new Final Fantasy, but on Final Fantasy 7. So from my perception, I asked myself, what is Final Fantasy 7? To explain it to you, I'll make a very Japanese comparison. Final Fantasy 7 is like a makunuchi bento, or the lunch bag you take to a sumo event. It is full of different foods, so you can experience numerous flavors. This is Final Fantasy 7. The world is full of different elements. It doesn't just have dramatic tones or stylish characters. There is humor, there is fun, there is a great variety of situations. Fans enjoyed Cloud riding a Segway, or Red 13 believing he is a human and riding a chocobo. This is what makes Final Fantasy VII Final Fantasy VII. With Rebirth, we went in this direction, but we went even deeper. There are many mini-games, many opportunities. That's what we're trying to do, make Rebirth more Final Fantasy VII than Final Fantasy VII.
All right, baby. Woo! Now that's a way to just that's how you close out interviews. The whole segment of this show. Good God.
Jeez.
I mean, listen. You say that, it gets me excited. Final Fantasy. I remember reading a article in Game Informer cover story of Final Fantasy 15, and I remember Tabata-san saying that he was like, I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy 7. I just want to make a Final Fantasy that surpasses Final Fantasy 7. And I remember reading that, and I went, hold up, dude. I was like, I'm already hype enough for 15. And then I read, we want to make a Final Fantasy that surpasses Final Fantasy 7 in terms of like popularity and all that other stuff. And I'm like, dude, come on, man. That is... So when you say more Final Fantasy 7 than Final Fantasy 7, I'm like...
Only Final Fantasy VII can beat itself.
Yeah, exactly. So that's super freaking hype to me. So
it is, man.
All right, so I think that covers just about all of the news, man. What do you think? Is there anything?
It covers a lot, yeah.
So here's what I want to ask everybody in chat as well. This is some time. Maybe you can ask me and Tyler. AMA. Ask us anything.
Please.
And in that time, while you gather your questions, I believe I will read from this highly educated and just fantastic book of poems from when I was in 5th grade. Okay, I found this when I was I was going
Brace
through
yourself.
a little old box of mine where I have a bunch of old stuff in it. I got my band reunion back when I was in high school. That's coming up next week, and so I'm pretty excited about that. And then I stumble upon this Final Fantasy VII poems featuring a great hit called Final Fantasy. Oh, don't forget about Comet. Comet's a good one. The Noise. And The Game. Okay. Let's open this up real quick. As you can see here. Look at that beautiful illustration.
Beautiful. Look at that.
Thank you. This is a quatrain, by the way. Yeah.
Very good.
Come on, I know here we go. Final Fantasy. Oh, let me read right into the microphone so it's like a little... Oh yeah, this is good stuff right here. Final Fantasy is a game I like to play. I play it almost every day. The character Cloud is who I have to be. But Sephiroth always tries to defeat me. Final.
Really? Final. Wow.
Really?
What a
oh, by the way, it's I have to be like one half. That's HALF. I got hit with a spelling, a little grammatical error there. All right. I present to you the next one. This is a haiku. Beautiful illustration. This is Comet. In the dark, vast space, A comet flies toward Earth on a nice spring day. As perplexing, isn't it, Tyler? You're perplexed right now. You're like, dude, I'm in deep thought. I'm in deep thought. Like, you had to be meditating to read that. You know what I mean?
Fingers are ready to snap for you.
Like, you played Ghost of Tsushima? Have you played Ghost of Tsushima? Like, I feel like that was straight out of Ghost of Tsushima. You had to sit there on, like, one of those rocks, and you're, like, meditating while you think of a haiku. That's what you think of right there. I'll read it again. In the dark, vast space, a comet flies toward Earth on a nice spring day.
Oh.
Beautiful.
That's very nice.
Thank you.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Look at that nice meteor in the sky.
Yeah. That is a massive one. That almost
What a
bigger than
peaceful day.
What a peaceful, nice spring
Such a good day. Yeah.
The next one is a limerick. The noise. Barrett was helping his partner Cloud when they heard a noise that was really loud. Sephiroth had opened a door and immediately received a sore. He cried so hard he drew a crowd. You didn't expect that one. You didn't expect the turn. You didn't expect the twist at the end.
No way.
Look at his illustration of him.
What a twist.
Look at this guy. Look, that's Sephiroth laying down there, right? The crowd watching.
That's definitely
and then
Sephiroth.
somebody coming out of the door saying, oops. Like...
Oops. Taking out Sephiroth. He just took him out.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to, you know... trying to open a door,
Man,
you know?
that looks just like Sephiroth.
Thank you. Yeah, look at
That looks just like him.
Better watch out,
Prophecy.
Tyler Hebner art. I'm coming for you, bro. I'm gonna post these. Put these on my Etsy and sell them. By the way, go check out Tyler Hebner on Etsy. Found a way to plug it, man. I found a way to plug it.
You found a way.
I found a way. Amazing Final Fantasy.
This is like
art.
Temple of the Ancients. It's like Temple of the Ancients wall hieroglyphs.
Yes. Exactly.
This is what's happening behind Sephiroth as he's in the Temple of the Ancients.
Yeah. Get that video of Sephiroth reading all the books in the library, and he stumbles upon this one. You know.
This image. This is the image he sees.
Block Sheep said, and this is how I got detention. Is that a nutsack? What are you talking about? Where's the nutsack? I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about, man? That's a beautiful work of art. Oh.
Look at all the...
that's his hand coming out.
You know,
the
that.
door. Yeah, come on, Block Sheep. Come on, Block Sheep. All right, we got one more for you. This is a Sinsane? A Sincane? Sincane? I don't know, man. It's what I think that's how it's.
What is that?
What is that? It's a Cinquain. A Cinquain?
Ah, okay.
All right.
Ah, okay.
Okay. I got graded on this too. I'll tell you what I got on it. The game.
Okay.
This is going to be a quick one. Okay. Game. Awesome. Cool. Saving the planet. Aggravating to be defeated. Challenging. I'll read it again for you. Game.
Okay. Oh.
Awesome. Cool. Saving the planet. Aggravating to be defeated. Challenging.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. He's onto something there.
Life.
Oh, and then also, PlayStation only. A B- on that one. All right, thanks, man. You know, I tried hard on that one. I did do the advertisement for PlayStation only there, and look at that sweet illustration. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Official. It's official, man.
What do you guys think of that?
My mind's blown.
Yeah. Took you to a higher level, right? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm on another plane of thinking.
All right, so a quatrain, I got, like you get 2 points each, right? 4 lines, got 2 points each. Rhyming pattern, 2 points each. Come on, bro. Clear and makes sense, 2 points. It was very clear and it made sense. Creativity, we got a 1.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
1 out of 1.
A 1 out of 2. Like, what's your name, teacher? Haiku, 3 lines, 2 points. 5 to 7 syllable or 575 syllable count, 2 points. Makes sense, 2 points. Creativity, 2 points. On the limerick, 5 lines, 2 points. Rhyming pattern, 2 points. Rhythm,
Dang,
2
killing
points.
it.
Creativity, 2 points. Come on, man. Sin Queen, 5 lines, 2 points. Follows word count, 2 points. Creativity, 2 points.
Jeez.
This is how I do things, Tyler.
Man.
All right. Now this is 4 points each. For grammar, spelling, 3. I said half. Capitalization, 4. Punctuation, 3. Word usage, 4 though. Handwriting, 4. Nice job, Daniel. You know?
Hey. Well, there you go.
94%.
The king is at it again.
There we go. Thank you for indulging me for the those poems, man. You know, everybody watching.
It was incredible.
Yeah, I watched a steep drop off in viewers. A steep drop off in viewers. They were like, whoa, click out of this stupid shit. All right, so
what the heck is this?
What is this? You want me to show you the meteor picture again? I mean, there's that one. That's a good meteor picture. You know, there's that one.
Yeah. Yep.
And then there's that one. You know. Jesus Christ.
You want to see that every day. I want to go outside and see that every day.
It's not.
It's beautiful.
Oh man. All right, you guys. So let me come up here to the chat to see if you guys had any questions that you can ask us anything. So I kind of gave you a little bit of time to do that while I was reading. So I'm seeing if I missed anything. Just skimming through. Do you see anything in chat there, Tyler, that you want to point out?
Let me look.
Okay, yeah, you find one,
okay,
I find one. We're getting more of the same in remake, equally important, everything. Yep. Part 3, no matter what. All right. My question, here we go. Major Trenton has a question. Do you think they're going to surprise us with how much Zack will be playable in Rebirth? Maybe have his parts add up to be about 6 hours? Do you think they're gonna? You think that's gonna be a lot of Zack playable time there?
I think they've shown him off so much.
Yeah.
He's on the cover.
Yeah.
They mentioned his episode.
Yeah.
Which makes some people worried that it's just like a moment, like kind of like a DLC feeling. He could be moments throughout the story. Yeah. Hopefully, maybe it's some. It could be a chapter. It could be moments throughout the story, Laguna style. I hope it's as much as possible. A scary gut feeling is it is just one chapter that is playable.
Yeah.
Just like a flashback scenario. But maybe it's multiple back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would like to think
I hope it's
You hope it's what?
I hope it adds up to 6 hours plus.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's just one chapter. If it's just one chapter, we can assume that it's probably at the very, very least an hour of playtime with Zack. But I would go as far as saying at least 2. A chapter is pretty. Yeah. Those chapters can be pretty long. Like, I mean, don't forget about freaking.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, Wu-Tai or not Wu-Tai. Sorry. Wall Market. Wall Market was a huge chapter. You spent a lot of time in Wall
That
Market.
took a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
so there's that. There's a lot of stuff that he has to, go through. We're gonna have to solve them. There's gonna be a lot of story elements. With 6+ hours, I don't think that's too far out of the realm of possibility. I think there's going to be those Whisper esque moments where something's going to be happening that you remember really well, and then Zach's going to kind of interfere with it somehow. Where, like there's going to be a Zach moment at the end of maybe every chapter, or not every chapter, but maybe like there's going to be a Zach moment at the end of a chapter that like segues into the next. But yeah, I think
it could be a set piece. Like, yeah, I think maybe interwoven set pieces, Laguna style.
Yeah.
Where it's just a scenario is set up. I think it would be more. It wouldn't be as open. It wouldn't be like an open feeling. It would just be a chapter based, linear type of storytelling with him.
Yeah, and I think most of it's going.
He's definitely going to be smaller.
Yeah, and most of it's going to be in Midgar anyway, so that's a linear type experience.
Yeah,
and I agree with you, man. Like he's on the front cover, and they keep on saying that he's going to be a big. He's going to be there. So I don't think that's out of the possibility, Major Trenton. That's a good question. I'd say 6 hours is good. Renaissance Elf, yes. Let's see. I don't think nope. Okay, he's just saying what's up. All right. So do you think you'll...
Red Seto art? When are we going to see Red Seto art? Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing a full Rebirth series. I'm drawing everything. I have to catch up on a lot this year. Just for everyone, so I can catch up. Because I've been kind of distant from everybody. I've been going through a lot. My dog Judah is sick, and kind of really sick, and he needs help as much as possible. So it's been taking my attention like 24/7 for the last month. But I know I've hyped up a lot, and it's all coming. It's all coming. So I'm going to finish my 16 series as much as I can before Christmas, and then I've decided once January hits, every week, my goal is to get done with a new painting every week leading to Rebirth.
Yeah.
And it's just, of every character leading to a new finale piece that represents Rebirth, how I imagine Rebirth. And I've been planning this for a while. I just need to get started working on it. So the hype train is going to start January for the brand new Rebirth stuff. The rest of the year is going to be sporadic, more so finishing up my current series. I got something hopefully Monday related to the flashback. So look forward to that. Something on Monday. But yeah, definitely look forward to moments. I'm going to paint moments from Final Fantasy VII, especially Red and his father. And I want more of that feeling on top of just character portraits,
Yeah, I mean, well, I think first of all, everybody is gonna, you got to be super understanding about that. I mean, thoughts got to be with you on that one, man. I know it's a really tough thing to go through there. So, take your time, man, and get through the art when you can. But I'm showcasing your art now, so everybody who likes what they see on screen right now, this is on Etsy. Like, you can get printouts. If I hold on a second. Boop. I got mine. Oh, you can't even see it. All right. There we go.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
I got mine. I love this, man. I love this piece. So I framed it. You can get your own on Etsy and everything. So yeah, I mean, like, there's some fantastic artwork there. So let's see.
That was a year's worth, basically, because I did a full series of all of those. It took a year, and I compiled them. That was the whole goal, is to create that.
Yeah.
My goal is to do something like that January, February, leading up to the game. Ooh. I'm gonna do a 2.0 version of that. With everyone again, but refreshed, revamped, brand new composition, all that. So
that's awesome. Yeah, super awesome stuff there. So if you like that, go check them out. Just go to @TylerHepnerArt on Twitter or X or whatever, and follow there. Instagram Tyler Hepner. I think it's Etsy.com/Tyler Hepner. I imagine.
Yep.
So all right. So let's see. Irving says good with no playable Zach, and that's a possibility as well. No, it's not, because they did confirm there's an episode with Zach. So there will be at least one chapter there. If you got 2 chapters, so like the episode intermission was 2 chapters. So if they say Zach has an episode, could be 2 chapters. Good point. Renaissance Elf just wants to say, Tyler, you are super talented. God bless you, brother. Would love to see some more Before Crisis art too. Nice, Before Crisis art.
Yeah, God bless you, man. That I've got some Before Crisis art already done. I'm just saving it for Ever Crisis stuff. Right. So definitely look forward to it. Elf is on the way.
Yes. Block Sheep, that Aerith Tifa art is beautiful. Richard Beaton says, "Good on you, Tyler. All the best to you, your dog, and hope it gets well soon." So man,
thank you, man.
That was awesome, man. I think that was a really great showing there, and we talked about everything we wanted to talk about. I feel like, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's so much, and I think we did a good overall.
Just like trying to.
I wanted to mention because. Mm-hmm. Someone mentioned the recap, the 17-minute rumor.
Oh yeah.
Because the CG, I wanted to go back and talk about the CG part.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might just be an intro. There might be, because I'm curious, because I'm really excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the recap that they shared today was going to be the CG.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
So are they going to show it twice? And is this recap only in menu? If this recap's only in menu, then maybe this is just the intro in the beginning of the game. Like the beginning of Remake had the bird flying into Midgard.
Yeah.
CG sequence. They're going to have like some sort of sequence of the battle.
I think
leading up into...
leading into it. I agree with you on that, where I think what we saw today... in this public release, I think that is going to be like, hey, previously on, or like catch up with Remake if you want to do that. And you can watch this little recap video. I don't think it'll be 17 minutes long. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't know.
I'm thinking it's not that.
Yeah, I think the intro to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will go. Maybe showing the bird flying through or the feather falling down, just like they showed in the reveal trailer with Zack and Cloud walking.
Yeah,
I think that's in the intro. I think that's part of the intro thing. It's all leading up to that moment. So I believe to kick it all off. I don't know, man. I mean, you might get that bird flying through, because I think they're keeping with the consistency that the parallels. You know what I mean? Of the sky approaching Midgar, and then maybe cut to those fight scenes of the fully rendered battles that you had in the final battle. All of this stuff kind of building up to Cloud walking, or Zack walking with Cloud towards Midgar, the team walking towards Calm, and then I think you probably even get a zoom in on Calm, and you go right into the end of Calm, and they're all just sitting around talking, and like there's that seamless transition. You know what I mean? Like you go, as it goes, like a fully CG rendered Calm, you go into the window, and then it goes into that, like how the train pulled into the station, and then it goes into
Ingrain. Yeah.
And you go right into the game, and they're just kind of standing around talking about, and Cloud gets to set up to tell the story.
Yeah,
might be cool.
That makes sense.
Be a cool way to do it.
I think because the reason I want to mention this is because my ultimate thing, I wanted the cold open into the flashback of them in the rain in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
About to get to the dragon fight. Just cold open right into that.
I think
because they're talking about anybody can play this. They need to do the recap, and they keep talking about recap stuff. So I think that's not the case anymore. So I wonder if the recap today is required. That's what I'm curious about. If this is going to be like an optional menu thing, or if it's going to be the very beginning, because I don't think, personally, it's the best beginning intro that they could that you put in the CD and you play that.
I think it is, but it's tough because I think it will be an optional thing. I think people just want to jump right into Rebirth when they get it. They wouldn't want to watch the 5-minute thing, but I think that could be an optional thing, like a hey previously on thing, and then you get like this really cool cinematic recap of the final battle leading in. I do like what somebody said they would like to see it starting in the back of the truck, but you kind of said that as well. I think in the back of the truck is on the way to Nibelheim is a great way, and then give us, instead of fighting alongside Sephiroth in game, like playable, like freaking show us a cool cinematic of like Cloud just getting wrecked by this green dragon, and then like Sephiroth gets rid of it, like make that all CG cinematic.
Show the power scale.
Yeah, that would be cool. So Mercedes Daniels, thank you Block Sheep for highlighting that. It was a Quake water question. I think I missed that somewhere along the lines. Do you think we will get Quake materia? I hope so, and the addition of water. It's a good question. I think Quake is I feel like Quake is a lock. That's got to happen. I think Quake's. I mean, even so. Kujata actually, it is a tri-disaster, but he also stomps around and like wasn't in the game. Titan. Titan is another one where he lifts up the freaking ground, and so it's got that ground element. So I think Quake is going to be in the game. Water is an interesting one. I mean. Well, I think Ever Crisis is a good idea for asset. That's true.
Research, and they have Quake and water easily in there. So
true, very true.
Yeah, I think so.
The new Renaissance Elf says that the new chapter teased the Green Dragon, Cloud, and Sephiroth fought on the way to Nibelheim. That's cool.
Okay, I remembered.
Okay.
Yes, first of all, Ever Crisis. Yes, I'm excited for Monday for the Ever Crisis stuff, which is why I'm doing a new piece for it.
Nice.
But I wanted to mention, because they did the full translation of TGS, the full transcript of that presentation at TGS, of where they first showed the grasslands and everything Hamaguchi said. Have you seen the details of that? Have you read that yet?
Keep talking. Maybe.
Because it's only little things, but we missed the little details of Hamaguchi's, like what he's actually saying word for word, leading into everything he's talking about. So the implication is that you can swim across the water, you can swim everywhere. You can swim consistently everywhere across the world.
Interesting.
And it was pointed out right before I got on to the stream. I want to find that.
I wonder if they would maybe later on in the game. That's interesting, because I don't think you would be able to swim straight from like Zelda Breath of the Wild style. I don't think you're going to be able to go straight to Costa del Sol right at the beginning of the game. I don't think you would be able
because
to
my
go to Wutai or something.
Yeah, because my idea was there's shallow sections, like you pointed out before. There's a shallow water area.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure there's deeper water for the Tiny Bronco. But I think eventually, probably, I don't know, just the way, I think maybe, not that we were talking about it, I think the interviewer was trying to get points for having something figured out based off the interview.
Yeah, I would say that...
rewording the... It's probably something like that. Because my idea was, you can't really travel till Tiny Bronco anyways. I'm not really... I don't really want you to go everywhere anyways.
I think they're going to keep you restrained.
I'm getting...
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting article embellishment
I think
vibes
I know
here.
what you're talking about as well. Also with Tiny, I read something about Tiny Bronco. Once you have that, you'll be able to travel the world or something like that. But I like you'll be able to
Yeah.
travel the world map in the Tiny Bronco. I'm very interested to see how all that works because you got fast travel. Obviously, that goes into play with High Wind.
Yeah.
What's the incentive to go to on these things? But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean like yeah. But I do have to get going.
Also,
but yeah.
okay,
So
okay,
no,
okay,
we
go
can
ahead.
close it. We can close it up. Go ahead. One more time. One more thing.
The future is looking good, man. And then even Hamaguchi's,
Yes.
he even hinted part 3. He's hinting part 3.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be bigger and better, more and more. He wants to
Yeah.
enhance the experience for even part 3. So it's big kaiju fights, Vincent and Sid. Everyone's in the party.
Mm-hmm.
Airship is involved. I mean, it's going to be crazy. Part 3 is awesome. I can't wait for that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's even mentioned they're even talking about it, and they're waiting for a reception of Rebirth, to see how they'll go about
Yeah, they basically said
finishing
that
off the rest. But
yeah, they were just like, hey, production is early on for part 3, but Katase thinks that having already created the world map, an open-ended game, that it should be a little bit smoother to develop part 3. But I think what they need to spend like all of their resources on, you said it, kaiju battles. Like, give us freaking weapon battles that are just on the scale and scope of Final Fantasy 16's icon battles, and make it just an absolute cinematic masterpiece. Like, I mean, you're giving us Rebirth, which is our open world exploration thing, and I imagine that part 3 is going to kind of build on that, throw in a little more teases of a little more interesting locations. You got the northern continent that's got to be added. Underwater is going to be added.
Wutai,
Wutai, Medial. So there's going to be an expansion of the world map for sure. But you just focus all your effort on those, making it just insane, and that's. I
have to point out. That's exciting. I have to point out the airship.
Mm-hmm.
I think the airship. They did this in the OG. They jumped out and flew into Midgar. Okay.
Yeah.
I think dropping out, like bus style, Fortnite style. I don't know. Is going to be a part of it. Maybe. That would be really cool concept because they did do that.
Yeah.
They might do it within fights, or maybe Sid's piloting the airship while you're fighting, and there's some sort of thing led to that, or maybe I want to be like in the air. I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it. It could be platform based. It could be FF16 cinematic. It could be. I don't want to hit. We're not gonna hit the toes. We're not gonna be just cutting ankles. I think. I think they're gonna try to avoid that.
Yeah. You don't want to be just like wailing at a toe, like at freaking diamond weapons toe. But like I had said this, I think last week or the week before, when it comes to High Wind, freaking give me aerial, give me a dogfight with ultimate weapon, right? Like, we know that this thing has an armory. We know that with Sid's limit break, it has missiles, it has all this stuff. Let me fly around the sky instead of chasing it to the next battle. You're chasing it around the world map from the air. And you got all of your towns that you visited below, and you're just freaking having this fight with ultimate weapon. That is going to be epic. That makes the High Wind relevant. And then and then other different things like the High Wind. If you can give us more air travel that makes that really fun to do, I would never fast travel ever. Yeah, man. I'm super excited for part 3, and I definitely want to talk about that more in a future podcast. But I do want to close this one out. And Tyler, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being on the show, man. Like, this has been awesome.
Thank you for having me, man. And I'd love to be a part of it when other people are involved too. I'll try not to miss them anymore if you. If you do ask, I'll
like
do
have
my
a
best
big,
to be a part of it.
the next Hypecast.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yes.
Well, after December 7th, you know what I mean. I imagine that December 7th is going to bring us a ton of things to talk about and a ton of hype moments. So look forward to that. After December 7th, we're going to have another Hypecast, and I'll try to get Tyler on there for that one. But yeah, so until then, I do want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching, following along, and keeping active in chat. It's been really great to read all of it. I'm sorry I wasn't able to talk about every single, mention everybody. God, I wish I could have everybody in chat on the show at one time. That would be fantastic. So there you go. Please be sure to go follow at Tyler Hepner Art on Twitter. And of course, again, you can purchase the artwork on Etsy. So thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Renaissance Elf. So thank you for watching.